TV soap news and spoilers say that at the heart of this urban labyrinth was a story so twisted, so fraught with obsession and betrayal that it threatened to consume everyone it touched. In the soap opera Beyond the Gates, the saga of Alison, Chelsea, and Madison was spiraling toward a climactic confrontation that would leave hearts pounding and jaws dropped. Would Madison uncover Alison's sinister plot and rescue Chelsea from her captor's clutches, or would Alison's unhinged devotion plunge them all into chaos? Let's delve into the dark, dramatic depths of this tale, where love turns lethal and secrets refuse to stay buried. A dangerous obsession takes root. Alison's fixation on Chelsea had been brewing for months, a slow-burning ember that had erupted into a wildfire of obsession. Chelsea, a radiant model whose face graced billboards and magazine covers across Port Haven, was the object of Alison's unrelenting desire. To the outside world, Chelsea was a vision of poise and perfection, her sapphire eyes and flawless smile captivating all who saw her. But to Alison, she was more than a celebrity. She was a muse, a destiny, a prize to be claimed at any cost. It had started innocently enough. Alison, a reclusive graphic designer with a penchant for control, first encountered Chelsea at a charity gala. Chelsea's laughter, the way her auburn hair caught the light, the effortless grace with which she moved through the room, it was as if the world had slowed just for Alison to memorize every detail. From that moment, Alison was hooked. She began following Chelsea's every move, scouring social media for glimpses into her life, memorizing her favorite coffee shops, her preferred yoga studio, even the brand of perfume she wore. Alison's apartment became a shrine to Chelsea, walls plastered with photographs, magazine clippings, and handwritten notes detailing her routines. To Alison, this wasn't stalking, it was devotion. She was crafting the perfect reunion, one that would bind them together forever. But Chelsea wasn't the willing participant Alison imagined her to be. When Alison finally made her move, it was with chilling precision. Under the guise of a late-night photo shoot, Alison lured Chelsea to a secluded warehouse on the outskirts of Port Haven. The moment Chelsea stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind her, and Alison's true intentions were revealed. Chelsea's screams echoed through the cavernous space as Alison, her eyes glinting with manic fervor, bound her wrists and declared her love. "You're mine now, Chelsea," she whispered, her voice a chilling blend of adoration and menace. "You'll see this is what you've always wanted. A captive's defiance and a mad woman's rage." Trapped in the dimly lit warehouse, Chelsea's initial shock gave way to defiance. She was no damsel content to cower. She was a fighter, her spirit as fierce as her beauty. But Alison was relentless, her obsession fueled by a warped sense of entitlement. When Chelsea dared to call Alison crazy, spitting the word with venom, Alison's composure cracked. "Ungrateful!" she shrieked, her voice echoing off the rusted metal walls. "After everything I've done for you, everything I've learned about your favorite flowers, your favorite songs, the way you take your coffee, you should be thanking me." Chelsea's eyes widened as Alison's hand darted toward a nearby table, her fingers closing around the handle of a gleaming kitchen knife. The blade caught the flickering light of a single overhead bulb, casting jagged shadows across the room. "You haven't seen anything yet," Alison hissed, her voice low and dangerous. She twirled the knife with unsettling ease, her gaze never leaving Chelsea's face. The air grew thick with tension, each moment stretching into eternity as Chelsea braced herself for what might come next. But Alison's mood swings were as unpredictable as a storm. Just as quickly as her rage had flared, it subsided, replaced by a chilling calm. She set the knife down with deliberate care, her lips curling into a smile that sent shivers down Chelsea's spine. "There's only one thing left for us to do," Alison purred, her voice dripping with a twisted kind of affection. From a duffel bag at her feet, she produced a delicate pair of lingerie silk in Chelsea's favorite shade of emerald green. "Put this on," she said, tossing it toward her captive. "We're going to make this night unforgettable." Chelsea recoiled, her bound hands fumbling to push the fabric away. "You're insane," she spat, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and fury. She lunged toward the door, desperate for escape, but Alison was faster. In a flash, she seized Chelsea's arm, her nails digging into soft flesh. A struggle ensued, and in the chaos, Chelsea's arm grazed the jagged edge of the table, blood welling up in a thin, crimson line. Alison's eyes gleamed with something akin to excitement. "If you want to play rough," she said, her voice low and menacing, "then we'll play rough." A web of lies unravels. Meanwhile, across town, Chelsea's friends and family were piecing together the puzzle of her disappearance. Madison, Chelsea's fiercely loyal best friend, was at the forefront of the search. A private investigator with a knack for uncovering secrets, Madison had always been suspicious of Alison. There was something off about the way Alison lingered at Chelsea's events, her gaze too intense, her questions too personal. When Chelsea failed to show up for a scheduled dinner, Madison's instinct screamed that something was terribly wrong. The breakthrough came when Madison and Chelsea's other friends managed to track down Craig, the man Alison had claimed was her husband. They arranged a tense meeting at a dimly lit diner on the edge of Port Haven, the kind of place where secrets were spilled over greasy coffee and flickering fluorescent lights. Craig arrived looking nervous, his eyes darting around the room as if expecting an ambush. What he revealed turned their understanding of Alison upside down. "I was never her husband," Craig confessed, his voice low. "Hell, we weren't even dating. Alison hired me through Joey's company of gigolo service, if you want to call it what it is. She paid me to play the part of her doting spouse, to make her seem normal, I guess. It was all a front." He leaned back, running a hand through his hair. "She was obsessed with some model Chelsea, I think her name was. Kept talking about how they were meant to be together. I thought it was just a crush, but damn, I had no idea she'd go this far." Madison's blood ran cold. The pieces were falling into place, each revelation more horrifying than the last. Alison wasn't just infatuated, she was unhinged, and Chelsea was in grave danger. Armed with Craig's confession, Madison rallied the group to intensify their search. They combed through Alison's social media, her work records, anything that might hint at where she was holding Chelsea. A tip from a co-worker led them to the warehouse district, a sprawling maze of abandoned buildings that seemed tailor-made for Alison's dark intentions. The race against time. As night fell over Port Haven, Madison's car sped through the rain-slicked streets, her heart pounding with a mix of dread and determination. The warehouse district loomed ahead, its skeletal structure silhouetted against the stormy sky. She parked a safe distance away, her breath shallow as she surveyed the area. Somewhere in this desolate place, Chelsea was fighting for her life, and Madison would be damned if she didn't bring her home. Inside the warehouse, the situation was deteriorating. Alison's mood swings had grown more erratic, her desperation to win Chelsea's love morphing into a dangerous obsession with control. Chelsea, battered but unbroken, clung to her resolve. She knew she had to keep Alison talking, to buy time until Simeone found her. "Why me?" she asked, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. "Why go to all this trouble?" Alison's eyes softened for a moment, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through her madness. "Because you're perfect," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've watched you for so long, Chelsea. I know you better than you know yourself. We're meant to be together, don't you see that?" But the tenderness vanished as quickly as it had come, replaced by a steely determination. "And if I can't have you, no one will." The words hung in the air, heavy with menace, as the sound of footsteps echoed from the far end of the warehouse. Alison froze, her head snapping toward the noise. Chelsea's heart leaped to me and was here. But who? And would they reach her in time? A confrontation in the shadows. Madison crept through the warehouse, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. The air was thick with the smell of rust and damp concrete, and every creak of the building set her nerves on edge. She clutched a tire iron she grabbed from her car, her knuckles white with tension. She wasn't a fighter by nature, but for Chelsea, she'd face anything given a madwoman with a knife. The beam of her flashlight fell on a figure in the distance, and Madison's breath caught. It was Chelsea, bound to a chair, her face pale, but defiant. And standing before her was Alison, the knife back in her hand, her eyes wild with a mix of fear and fury. "Stay back!" Alison screamed, brandishing the blade as Madison stepped into the light. "She's mine." Madison's voice was steady, though her heart was racing. "Let her go, Alison. This ends now." She took a cautious step forward, her eyes locked on Alison's. "You don't have to do this. Let Chelsea go, and we can get you help." Alison laughed, a harsh, jagged sound that echoed through the warehouse. "Help? I don't need help. I need her." She gestured toward Chelsea, the knife trembling in her grip. "You don't understand what we have. You'll never understand." Chelsea seized the moment, her voice cutting through the tension. "Madison, she's not stable. Be careful," but her warning came too late. Alison lunged, the knife arcing toward Madison in a wild, desperate swing. Madison dodged, the blade grazing her arm and drawing a thin line of blood. She swung the tire iron in response, catching Alison's wrist and sending the knife clattering to the floor. The two women grappled, a chaotic blur of motion in the dim light. Chelsea strained against her bonds, her shouts urging Madison on. With a surge of adrenaline, Madison overpowered Alison, pinning her to the ground. "It's over," she gasped, her breath ragged. "You're done." The aftermath. As the police arrived, their sirens piercing the night, Chelsea was free from her restraints, her arms wrapping around Madison in a tearful embrace. Alison was taken away in handcuffs, her face a mask of defiance even as her world crumbled around her. The warehouse, once a prison of obsession, was now a scene of rescue and redemption. But the scars of that night would linger. Chelsea, though physically safe, carried the weight of Alison's twisted love, a reminder of how close she'd come to losing everything. Madison, hailed as a hero, grappled with the trauma of the confrontation, her dreams haunted by the glint of Alison's knife. And Alison, locked away in a psychiatric facility, remained a specter in their lives, her obsession a chilling warning of what happens when love turns to madness. In Port Haven, the neon lights still burn, and the city's secrets continue to simmer beneath the surface. But for Chelsea and Madison, the events of that night were a testament to the strength of friendship and the resilience of the human spirit. Beyond the Gates had revealed its darkest chapter, but the story was far from over. What new dramas awaited in the shadows of Port Haven? We hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV soap news and spoilers for more updates on Beyond the Gates.